Thank God it's.
It's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get together live here on Facebook. No Luna, so boom, goodbye, Luna Cam. There you go. Here we are. It's Friday, April 9th, a beautiful day out and a beautiful day in. It's great to see you all, and welcome to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get together live here on Facebook every morning, where we take a look at important headlines of things happening around the world, in Mexico, in Puerto Vallarta. And we combine those with great questions and suggestions and tips from you guys and from people that we know to have a better understanding of our lives here and to better enjoy living in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. It is always a pleasure to be here, even on days like yesterday. Yesterday, I was admittedly having a gray day, and a couple of you reached out and sent very nice notes, and I very much appreciate those. For anyone that suffers from clinical depression and that has suffered from clinical depression for a long time, it's a matter of management. Some days you just know that your perception of the real world is going to be a little bit skewed, so you're better off having little interaction with those around you, or at least that's the way I handle it. So yesterday I took care of myself by staying home most of the day. I had to go out and had a great business meeting with my dear friend Paul of Hotel Mercurio. There's some fun changes coming up for the summer, and I'm very excited about that. But for the most part, it's like the weather. You wait for these things to go away, and then they go away, and the next day is usually better, and today that is the case. So I want to, again, thank you very much for anyone that reached out yesterday and sent me some love notes. And I also want to remind, again, anyone that is suffering from clinical depression or thinks that you might be depressed, look for help. Look for help. Check it out with your friends. Seek professional help. I mean, there are resources out there, and it is very important that we take the best possible care of each other and ourselves, of course. Enough. So let us, before we start with the news, take a quick look at who's joining us today. It's always a pleasure to see your faces. Raymond, I'm waiting for the pun. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know there's going to be a pun somewhere along the way. I'm looking forward to it. Good morning, James. Michael, it's always a pleasure to see you. Let's see. Terry is checking in from Nuevo Vallarta. Let's see who else is here. Mike is checking in from Chicago. And Dave says it's stunning in El Cerro. That's wonderful. Let's see. As always, please, if you're new to the broadcast, let us know by writing the word new in your comment. If you have any important questions or comments, please let us know by adding the letter Q at the beginning of your comment. Don is happy in Florida. His flights are booked for Puerto Vallarta. This is fantastic. Judy this is exactly what I want. I want to get my vaccine so that I can go to the cities. I want to go to Mazatlan. I want to go to Guadalajara. I've been traveling to, I've gone away for 3 times in the last year to small, tiny places where there isn't a lot of people. There aren't a lot of people, but I'm looking forward to go to doing some city traveling in the future. I'm very excited. I hope I get my turn in the month of May. Let's see what else we have. Elvin says TGIF. Absolutely. Absolutely. Christy loved this squirrel and the dog with the cicada. I mean, how on earth does a dog capture a living cicada? And I mean, can you imagine having a living cicada in your mouth and just hearing it buzzing in there and not being able or willing to do anything about it? It's just too strange for me. Thank God I'm not a dog. I'm more of a kitty cat. Oh, let's see. Um, Thank you very much for that, Mary. It's very much appreciated. Oh, how fun, Gary! This is absolutely wonderful. And querida hermanita, siempre me haces reír. You always make me laugh, and I love you. I love you. I really, really do. Joey just picked up his residency card. Mazel tov, excellent. And what else? Um, I love it when Claude squeezes me in person and in private and in public and everywhere. So I consider myself squeezed. Let's see what else we have. Felix asks, "Are the crowds gone? We will be back in 10 days, fully vaxxed." That's wonderful, Felix. I was this past Wednesday. I walked Olas Altas. Well, I actually walked it the day before. I was walking around Olas Altas, and I didn't see a lot of crowds. It's not. I didn't see crazy Semana Santa crowds. Definitely. During the week of Semana Santa, I did see photographs of people that went really, really crazy. But I think you are going to find a very relaxed, laid-back Puerto Vallarta when you come, and I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic time, particularly because you're vaxxed. But just be mindful of the fact that, even if you're already vaxxed, there are certain guidelines that are set forth by our government for anyone setting foot in our city. So just be mindful of that. And if you are, and I'm sure you will be, I'm sure you will have a wonderful time. Let's see. So glad to hear the clouds are passing and the sunshine is getting through. I've gotten good at this, Rita. I connect with a few choice friends and I let them know, hey, it's a great day. Just thought I'd let you know. And that way, my friends are kind to look after me, and I'm so very grateful for that. And I look after them, of course, whenever possible. Um, yeah, Logan pretty much boils it down to what it is: a steady stream of tourists, but nothing really, really crazy. Uh, Troy thinks I'm a bear cat. I love it. I suppose I am a bear cat. I like that. I like that. I'm going to have to Google bear cat, but I love it. Let's see what else. Carol was in Emiliano Zapata during Semana Santa, and it was very manageable. That's good to hear. Again, I chose to stay away, but I'm happy to stretch my neck and see what's going on in the city. Anyhow, let us get started with news. I have some very important news to start with, because if you missed the boat, if you're a senior and you missed the boat in getting your second vaccine, there is still an opportunity for you to do this today. Let's find out what that is all about. And here we go. As it turns out, there is a surplus of Pfizer vaccines left from the past 3 days of senior vaccinations here in Puerto Vallarta, and these will be available today for any seniors that may have missed the boat. It was announced late last night that the vaccination module at the International Convention Center would be open today. If this is your case, I would just dash out there while you can. It is unlikely that Puerto Vallarta will receive any additional doses of any type of vaccine until next month, when vaccines for those from age 50 to 59 will allegedly start shipping. So if you miss the boat, just go. I don't know the details about the times or anything, but if you are one of those seniors that for one reason or another did not get your second shot, Just watch Coffee and Headlines later on today. Grab an Uber, head over to the convention center, and take care of yourself. This is important. Um, Last week, we reported that Zapata, the local waterworks company, was going to begin some upgrades in certain streets in Colonia Emiliano Zapata and in El Centro. This work has been now confirmed with the announcement that starting this Monday, Constitucion Street in Emiliano Zapata and Hidalgo Street in El Centro will have restricted access. No details have been provided as to how traffic will be detoured to accommodate for these improvements or how long it will take to complete them. But if you are driving through either one of these neighborhoods, just be mindful of the fact that you may encounter some delays getting to your destination. For the rest of us that are walking from one place to another, it'll just be a nice eye candy smorgasbord of construction workers, I hope. At least that's what I hope. Anyhow, the kerfuffle is still making noise. Remember, we talked about the kerfuffle yesterday? Well, locals condemned it, this incident between members of the Movimiento Ciudadano and the Partido Verde political parties, in which there was physical violence that took place in front of children, and several people, including a woman, ended up on the floor after fistfights ensued. Yes, this is the way politics are run in Puerto Vallarta. The cynic hat comes on. Um, just to add a little bit of context, seriously, the reigning party, the reigning political party here in Puerto Vallarta is now the Movimiento Ciudadano. This is the party under which Puerto Vallarta has enjoyed a fair amount of prosperity over the past few years. So any political party, such as the Partido Verde, attempting to change things in our city is looking at an uphill battle. So what exactly happened between the Partido Verde and the Partido Orange, which is the Movimiento Ciudadano, at this particular meeting is a mystery to me, but that is not the way to run a political campaign. And a lot of locals are very, well, not a lot of locals. I cannot speak for anyone other than myself, but I spoke with a couple of my friends. I read a couple of headlines, and people are just disappointed, and this is unfortunate. Yesterday, I had a chance to sit down and have a conversation with a very good friend of mine that works in the municipality, and I told him what would happen if I went out with a tape recorder and interviewed any one of those people on intersections and that are waving flags, and I asked them, so what are the key points that your party is speaking for? And I said to him, will these people even know those basic answers? And he says to me, no, more than likely, they're just people that are brought in to wave flags, and they do not necessarily know anything um, about what the political party stands for. And I think that is just sad. It's the way it's been, but it is sad. And then, of course, the quarrel between the Movimiento Ciudadano, which is the Orange Party, and the Green Party has a lot to do with this gentleman, Luis Munguia. He's the handsome young politician that many of us enjoy looking at, but not so many of us enjoy dealing with. Munguia has shifted political parties 3 times in the last 6 months or so in an attempt to land the juicy spot for mayor for Puerto Vallarta. And in doing so, he has ruffled feathers along the way. And now, to make matters worse for him, the party itself, the Partido Verde, has decided after their deadline that he cannot be the official candidate for Puerto Vallarta mayor after all. How and why this happened and what is being moved about in the political arena for him to have been so egregiously dismissed is something that is above me. But the party itself has decided to support him, and they take to the streets with lovely matching green face masks and zero regard to safe distancing to protest against unfair treatment. Now, beginning to understand who's right or wrong in these matters is easier said than done. But for me, there is no way I'm going to stand behind any political party that organizes these types of marches without any regards to sanitary measures. And I think this is This is part of what made me really blue yesterday. I thought to myself, one thing is these tourists that come and go, and they cause whatever havoc they cause, and then they go away. But look at this photograph. This photograph is locals who have decided my political wants and needs are far more important than my safety and the safety of those around me. So maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but it is just not right. It's not right. And I'm seeing that, yes, I see some interesting comments. I'm going to wait. Actually, I'm going to look at your comments right now because Paul always has some very important and incisive and accurate comments about these things. Let's see. Paul says actors don't have to like the product they're selling, they just have to convince others to like it. And if it seems popular, everybody wants to get on board. That's politics, sadly, everywhere. So I guess my question would be, and I was kind of having that conversation with Luis yesterday, Paul, is who or where can one, a regular citizen like me or like anyone, get the actual key points that each party is standing for? And I'm not expecting an answer directly from you, but it is one of those things that, it's politics everywhere. Even if that's what politics everywhere is about, then I've been so happy to be very apolitical in the past. I keep trying to get more political and I keep failing miserably. Let's see what else we have. Yeah. Well, not related, but I'm glad to hear that David had a super great dinner at Barrio Bistro last night. It's a wonderful restaurant. I love it very, very much. Um, they should give the surplus vaccines to healthcare workers in the private sector. Well, Stephanie, your opinion and mine are good, but they're worth this much. When you think about the fact that the government has a plan in place, and that's what they do, um, and that's the way it is. Let's see. Walking always provides tons of eye candy and injuries. Yeah, this is true. Uh, let's see what else. Stephanie says that there's work going on in Maria Montessori, and yes, I know there's a lot of work going on in Palmar de Aramara right now. But just think about how wonderful your streets are going to be once they're done. Let's see what else we have. Yeah. Those people out there with signs are making money as well. No, a day's pay. I actually don't know if they are compensated in any way, shape, or form, Michael. I couldn't answer that question, unfortunately. Uh, Mungia will have to move to the rainbow flag so he can represent all colors. Well, as I understand it, he pissed off the rainbow flag too, so I don't know that he's going to get a lot of love from the rainbow flag. Let's see what else. Oh, what do they get? The classic frutzi y una torta to have people do your bidding. And Paul says they are not paid, at least not in cash. Mm, well, that's how I perceive it, Angelica. It's just wrong. But again, what do I know? I'm just a little guy reacting to the headlines as much as you are. Let's see what else. Yes, but we have no access from my street, Calle Limon, nothing. Garbage trucks, emergency vehicles, grass trucks get to us. Our cars are parked far away. It's frustrating, but it will be beautiful and nice to drive on when completing. That's right, Stephanie. Eat a brownie, take a deep breath, and realize that sooner or later this is bound to happen in every single neighborhood. For better or worse, it's yours. So make the best of it. That's all I can tell you. And I hope they get it done soon. And I hope that the eye candy is absolutely delicious. Okay, so moving right along, I have more news. It's funny, somebody said that the private sector doctors should get the vaccines. As a matter of fact, private sector doctors have been protesting at the Palacio Nacional in Mexico City, um, a couple of times in the past few weeks demanding COVID 19 vaccination, which has been readily available to physicians working in public hospitals. To them being the private physicians, Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador has responded, I understand the demand, but we have a strategy in place that will help everyone, and private doctors will have to wait for their turn, just like the rest of us. Is this fair or unfair? Again, our opinions are not necessarily important here. What's important is that the government has a strategy in place and it's the best strategy they can come up with. So we have to pretty much hope for the best. Or that's the way I look at it. Yet another batch of Pfizer vaccines, 487,500 to be precise, has arrived in Mexico City to provide senior citizens with their second round. However, as mentioned previously, it is unlikely that Puerto Vallarta will see any new vaccines until the month of May, when they will hopefully start vaccinating my generation. And the last formal headline that I have for you has to do with cannabis. Remember cannabis and the reform and how excited we got? Well, they're still waffling on some key points. And now the Senate, Mexico's Senate, has decided to postpone the final approval or the final debate on the cannabis legalization, the, oh gosh, cannabis legalization? The legalizing, the approval, the usage, whatever, until the next round of sessions, which will take place in September. Due to some inconsistencies in the law has not been approved just yet, so another year goes by. But this is not going to stop us from having a colorful 420 in a little over a week. Of course, I look forward to that. Let me come back to my big screen and see what else we have here in as it has to do with comments. Let's see. Uh, 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 uh. Let's see. I am here. Interesting topics. Thank you, Janet. We try to keep it interesting. Um, let's see what else. Oh, James, that is just so above my pay grade. You have to realize something, James. And this, let me compare this with the history of wine drinking in Puerto Vallarta. Once upon a time, in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, as in here, if you went to a restaurant, there was no wine to be served. And then a decade or two went by, and all you could get at a restaurant is either red or white or pink wine. And of course, as Puerto Vallarta has evolved as a culinary destination, now you can get the most amazing labels here in many restaurants. What has that got to do with sativa or indica? It's exactly the same, unless you have access to private growers that know their stuff. The vast majority of us don't have choices. And that's neither good nor bad. I am happy with whatever I can get my hands on, as long as it'll help me get sleepy at night. Do I know the difference between sativa and indica? Never knew it. Just once, thanks to a lovely gift from a dear friend that took place last year, have I had access to gourmet weed, and this was thanks to a beautiful gift from someone from here, from the cluster. So no, I couldn't answer your question, James. I think it'll be fun. It'll be interesting once cannabis gets legalized, and once all these little dispensaries start happening here, like they're happening elsewhere, to get a better appreciation of the different batches or growths or whatever. But not yet. For now, I'm just happy to get whatever I can get. Stephanie says, "Can you bring me a brownie, por favor?" Paco says, "Can you send me an Uber, por favor?" No, I'm just kidding. If I was walking into your neighborhood, Stephanie, I would gladly bring you one. But then, what would I do with all these people requesting brownies? I would become a dealer. Then they would come looking for me. Things might get ugly. Let's see what else. Fair or unfair? The question is it good public health policy? No. and I hope you're referring, Paul, to the fact that the politician protesters are protesting in huge numbers, very close to one another. Uh, oh, legalization. Thank you, James. Thank you, James. I'll try to remember that one. Um, Marcelo Ebrard is going on a tour of countries that have promised vaccines, signed purchase contracts with Mexico to pressure them to meet their commitments. This is important. This is very important. And I read somewhere that US President Biden did state that once all people were vaccinated in the United States would be sending some vaccines to Mexico. But again, um, you know, it remains to be seen, and we can only hope for the best as far as this is concerned. Matthew, it's part of the package. What can I tell you? As much as you come here, hopefully to discover wonderful things about Puerto Vallarta, I come here to discover wonderful things about my lack of knowledge of certain words. Or maybe it's that I'm getting older and grayer. I don't know, but I really appreciate being able to bounce language here at the cluster, because language is something that I find very, very fascinating. Uh, so no big clouds on 420, I guess. Well, I'm just going to celebrate like I have celebrated every 420, and I hope you are here to celebrate with me, Claude. Let's see. Pat says each has its place and moment. I suppose you're referring to the sativas and the non-sativas and stuff like that. Again, I'm an ignoramus, and I hope I will become more enlightened as legalize. What was it? When it happens. Oh dear. Let's see what else. Um, See, I wouldn't even know that. I wouldn't even know that. I'm such a little person, trucha. I just make my brownies and eat them, and then I get sleepy, and I sleep very well, and then I wake up the next day, and I love it. I love it. Hook us up. I never knew you were one to partake, Michael. If you want me to hook you up, I will be happy to hook you up. Or maybe you're talking to somebody else about hooking up with pharmaceuticals or fancy spices for your kitchen. I don't know. Um, Paco, Carmen says, watch Family Business on Netflix. I will. Thank you very much. Um, let's see what else. Da, 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 da. You'll be amazed when you get to try gourmet herb. I can't wait until you can. Well, every now and then my friends bring interesting candies from the United States, and that is always a trip. Good Lord. That is always a trip. Paco, if I ever see you sailing along the beach in the middle of the day, I would be concerned. You will never see me doing that. But baby says, show me the money and sell private. I have a number of friends that produce baked goods privately, and everything would seem to indicate that they're doing just fine. And that's fine by me. Let's see. My husband makes the best medicinal brownies, and they are easy to travel with. Well, let's compare some recipes one of these days. Let me jump over to the weather, because we've been very, very chatty every time we start talking about mota. You guys get so chatty, it's not even funny, but we still have the weather to talk about, and we have yet one more headline that makes me very happy. Oh, see, the weather is feels like I felt yesterday, a perfect temperature for what will probably just be a miserable day. That's the way I felt yesterday morning, and it turned out to be a fine day after all. But what do we have? We have 25 degrees Celsius, which is 77 degrees Fahrenheit. It feels like 26 degrees Celsius. Humidity is at 47%. And this weekend gets us started with a clear day, high temperature of 30 degrees, low temperature of 19. Um, Clear through the day tomorrow, high temperature 30, low temperature 19. And on Sunday, we can expect a partly cloudy day with a high temperature of 30 and a low temperature of 18. Nice days overall. I am very happy about this. And as I mentioned just a second ago, I have one more headline that makes me happy, and this is that the Mexican Institute National Institute for Seniors, or INAPAM, has announced that seniors volunteering at supermarkets can now return. Uh, I'm talking about the seniors that volunteer to pack your groceries at the cash register. They can go back to doing this as long as they have received their vaccine. Of course, it is up to each individual supermarket to determine when this will actually take place. But I figured it is a good time. It is always a good time to be mindful of the fact that grocery packers at supermarkets, particularly seniors, work on a volunteer basis, and as such, they deserve the best tip we can possibly provide them. In case you didn't know, I thought I would offer a little reminder. And, I always like to take care of seniors that are working at the supermarket in a probably unfair way. It is always easier for me to feel strongly about seniors and not so strongly about young people who still have so many work opportunities ahead of them. But I could be biased on that. Let me take a quick look at your final comments. San Sebastian grows amazing plants. I have heard. I am more familiar with the plants in El Tuito because that's where my stash usually comes from. And you are absolutely right. 420 cooking class on coffee and headlines. I'm always happy to share my recipe. It's nothing out of this world. If anybody wants to know how I make my brownies, I would be happy to talk about it. Just say so in the comments. Let's see. Claude says, "Count me in. I have tons of cannabis recipes. I love it. I go back to two basic recipes, and those make me happy." Let's see. Jorge in legalization. Okay, I'll try to remember this. See, I have a potty brain. I don't remember these things anymore. Let's see. Oh wow! Will Licks be offering a sativa lavender blend if it's legalized? Wouldn't that be fun? Wow! 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 I have missed the seniors at La Comer. So have I. So have I. I always try to make good conversation with seniors. And I really, really hope you do too. I feel very strongly about seniors volunteering at supermarkets. So please tip them well. Tip them well. Paco, what kind of plant is that behind you to my right? You mean this one? This one is my penis plant. It is a beautiful. Do you really want to see it? I've shown it before, but it is a beautiful gift that I received from a dear friend, and it is a penis-shaped installation installation with big coconut balls and air plants in there, and it squirts, or it has wires at the top of it, like right there. It has wires, and it was a beautiful art piece that I received from a dear friend of mine, and I spray it with misty water just about every other day because I wanted to stay alive. Uh, you talked 2 days ago about the place you got your new T-shirt. What was its name, and where is it? Oh shit, Optima. Optima? Is that the name of it? It is. I think it's called Optima. And shit, I would even run to go look for one. I think it's called Optima. They have two stores. One is at the Macro Plaza, where the Walmart is, and the other one is in El Centro, right across the street from the municipal park, from the municipal from the main plaza, maybe one block south. That's the name of the store. Um, Thank you, James. Yes, yes, I knew it started with an A. Oh, see, you all shop there too. Ha ha ha. Optimus. Yeah. See, they have great T-shirts and great shirts, and they're very very affordable. I'm going to be going back. Um, the plant seems to be deflating. Sprinkle some Viagra on it. It's actually doing fine. That said, Angela, I'm a plant killer, so I'm just hoping that it will it will last for a little while. Anyhow, I think we're pretty much at the end um, of our broadcast today. I thank you as always for checking in, for checking out, for visiting, for hanging out, for sharing your opinions, for sharing your thoughts, for sharing your tips. They're always welcome. And last but certainly not least, there's nothing more valuable than your company. So for that, I am truly, truly grateful. I hope you have a super, super weekend. It's going to be a fairly busy weekend for me because I have a lot of work to do, both for the broadcasts that are coming up next week and also for Hotel Mercurio and Mercurio Swim, my client. And I'll be creating wonderful social media posts for Hotel Mercurio and Mercurio Swim and new ads for new events that are happening. I'll just give you a hint. Sunday brunch, Sunday drag brunch at Hotel Mercurio will not last forever. So start thinking of checking it out if you haven't. It's taking place this coming Sunday and will continue until the month of May, through the month of May. And then afterwards, big surprises coming up. And that's what I can tell you right now. As always, thank you so much for hanging out, for tuning in, for keeping touch, and for staying healthy, happy, patient, and kind to one another. Have an amazing weekend, and I will see you soon, hopefully tomorrow. Bye-bye.